my name is Mr. Roshan and Coelho from the Department of Hospitality Science, PRUNING College, Bangalore. So the topic that I am dealing today is the flower arrangement, and in flower arrangement, how do we condition the plant materials and why it is important to condition a particular plant materials. So basically why we do this conditioning, the term conditioning refers to the preparation of cutting the plants, that is we are cutting the plants for so that we can extend its life, we can prolong its life. So that we can fill it with new water. Again, now we can prevent something called as wilting, which we'll learn what is it in the upcoming slides, and also to once again to prolong its life, thereby improving its quality. So what is the first step in conditioning the plant materials? The first step is whenever we are using a particular fresh plant, let's say whenever we are using a fresh plant that is freshly cut from the garden, we should always have a bucket with us, bucket filled with room temperature water. Now what happens is if we have a very cold or very, let's say, warm or hot water, the plant may start to age very fast, or it may get shocked because of the sudden abrupt change in the temperature. That is why we should always have the room temperature, the normal temperature at which the flower resides as well. And also, as soon as we cut the stem, or once we cut the flower from the particular stem there, we should directly plunge it into the water so that we can extend its life as well. And the second point is the plant material should be cut at a slant position using a sharp knife or a scissor, what we say as a cicature. So basically it is also done in the early in the morning or after the sunset, so that we can retain more of the moisture. Now why do we cut it at a slant position? Why the stem is cut at a slant position? Because of the water surface. When we cut the plant stem in a slant position, what happens is there is a lot of contact between the root and the water, thus by having a lot of water surface, and thus it can retain more water into the stem. And also basically we are doing it before sunset and after sunset and early in the morning, because we can retain more of the moisture as the heat is very low during these time periods. So the third point is it is best to cut the flowers before they reach maturity. So when the flower reaches its prime age, before that, maybe it's in young stage, we have to do the pruning process. Next is carry cut flowers in a head down position. So that, what do you mean by head down position? So once we finish off cutting the flower, let's say we have cut a particular flower and the flower is a marigold flower, so which has a very big head. So this will be very heavy. So what happens is when you keep it upright and you start walking, because of gravity, the stem might break because of the heaviness of the flower bud over there. So it is best to always invert or put it head down and then carry it wherever you want, so that the gravity doesn't affect it much and thus the stem is intact. So next process is to wrap the newspaper as soon as it has been cut, right up till its neck. So why we are doing this? We are doing it to do something called as a hardening process. What happens is as soon as we cut the stem from the plant, we have to wrap it with the newspaper up till the head, the flower head, and then we have to put it in or submerge it in the cold water for maybe for 2 hours or 3 hours, depending upon the flower type as well, and also the temperature that is in the environment as well as the temperature of the water. So what happens is we do a casing over there, a hard casing forms because of the newspaper. That is again it helps in prolonging the life of that particular stem or the flower. So the sixth point is using a good pruning knife or scissors. As I said, we use something called as a cicature, which is mainly meant for the flower arrangement. That is, it can cut through very hard stems. So basically that is why we use a good pruning knife or a good pruning scissor. Next is the seventh point is making slanting cuts in the stem rather than straight ones. As I said, once again the same point, that is we are doing that diagonal slant cut because it can have a more surface area, that can the root can touch the water and can retain more of the water in it. Next, when we are using a stemmy or a woody plant, they may be cut, crushed or split at the end. Example, cherry. So basically what this stem means that if we have a stem that are woody, which are having a very hard nature, we may crush the ends of it or split the ends of it. That is again to retain moisture. When we do this, a plant can absorb more of the water from the particular source, maybe the bucket water or any other container that it is kept in. And also the ninth point is to reduce underwater decay. So to reduce this underwater decay, what we have to do is we have to strip the plant of all foliages and thorns. So basically, for example, when we say a rose flower with a stem, what happens is we remove the leaves as well as the thorns so that we can extend its life. And also whenever something is kept underwater, let's say when we keep the rose stem with the stem or with the leaves, what we say the leaves in the water, what happens is it starts to getting decay. So when it gets decayed, the lot of the plant focus on keeping that particular that leaf alive. So what we have to do is we have to cut off that particular decayed part of the leaf, so that the plant can focus on the main flower and thus prolong its life as well. And finally, the 10th point is never place a fresh flower arrangement where it has been exposed to a direct draught from a fan or a window. So basically what this means is when we finish doing a particular flower arrangement, we should never keep it near a direct draught. Now what do you mean by a direct draught? Maybe direct sunlight as well as direct exposure to high winds. What happens is when there are high winds blowing, it may disrupt or disform the particular flower arrangement. That is why we have to always keep it away from direct source of draughts, as well as not keeping it under direct sunlight, as it can remove the moisture and thus cause dehydration. And the last step is to change the water every day if the arrangement is meant to for a long time. That is, if the arrangement is made, if it is a very big arrangement, it is meant for a long time. So basically what we have to do is we have to change the water maybe for 2 days or 1 day, depending upon the size of the flower as well as the amount of decay that is taking place. So everything has to be taken account here. So basically we have to change the water. So what happens when we change the water? It gets more nutrients, as well as we can add some more nutrients into it. Basically we can add listerine or any other kind of a chemical, so that it can extend its life. It can have more nutrients and thus by prolong its life. And this is all the required things that we need for conditioning a plant material, basically under the flower arrangement concepts. And with this I end my lecture. Thank you.